What if I told you a king once entered his city, not with soldiers or swords, but riding a humble donkey? Crowds shouted, "Hosanna!" This is the story of Jesus' triumphant entry, a moment of prophecy, power, and purpose. There came to pass when Jesus and his disciples approached Jerusalem, they came to the villages of Bethphage and Bethany near the Mount of Olives. He paused, the wind lifting his robe, and said, "Go into the village ahead. There you'll find a young donkey tied, one no man has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it. If anyone asks, say, 'The Lord has need of it.'" The disciples obeyed, and they went away. Just as Jesus said, they found a young donkey tied near a doorway. When asked why they were taking it, they replied simply, "The Lord has need of it." The owners nodded in quiet understanding. They brought the colt to Jesus, laid their cloaks across its back, and helped him mount. The moment was humble yet divine. The prophecy of Zechariah whispered through the air, "Behold, your king comes to you, gentle and riding on a donkey." As Jesus entered the city, Jerusalem trembled with sound. Cloaks were laid across the road, palm branches waved high, and voices rose like a river. "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the coming kingdom of our father David." The air pulsed with hope. The people rejoiced, believing the Messiah had come to overthrow Rome and restore the throne of David. Yet Jesus rode on silently, his eyes filled not with triumph, but compassion. For he knew that the same crowd who now cried, "Hosanna," would soon shout, "Crucify him." Still he entered willingly, love riding straight into destiny. On the following day, when they came from Bethany, Jesus was hungry, and seeing in the distance a fig tree and leaf, he went to see if he could see anything on it. When he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. And he said to it, "May no one ever eat from you again." And his disciples heard it, and although the disciples heard, but did not yet understand, the tree, lush but fruitless, mirrored the hearts of men. Religion without righteousness, form without faith. When he entered the temple, that same emptiness confronted him. Sacrifice turned to trade, worship replaced by greed. With holy anger, he overturned the tables of the money changers, scattering silver across the stones. Doves fluttered into the air as his voice thundered, "It is written, my Father's house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations, but you have made it a den of thieves." The merchants fled, the priests stood frozen, and the echo of truth filled the temple for the first time in generations. The following morning, they passed by the same fig tree, and Peter remembered and said, "Rabbi, look, the fig tree you cursed has withered from its roots." Jesus looked at him and said, "Have faith in God. Truly I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, 'Be lifted up and thrown into the sea,' and does not doubt in his heart, but believes what he says will happen, it will be done." His voice carried both warning and promise. Fruitless faith dies, but faith rooted in trust lives forever. When you pray, he added, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. And when you stand praying, forgive, that your Father in heaven may forgive you. The disciples' hearts stirred. Real power was not in might, but in mercy. And they came again to Jerusalem, and as Jesus taught in the temple courts, the chief priests, scribes, and elders came forward. Their pride wounded, their authority shaken, they demanded, "By what authority do you do these things? And who gave you this authority?" The people fell silent, waiting for his reply. Jesus answered with wisdom that cut deeper than swords. "I will ask you one question. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or from men? Answer me." They whispered among themselves, "If we say from heaven, he will ask why we did not believe him. But if we say from men, the crowd will turn against us. For all believed John was a prophet." So they said, "We do not know." Jesus replied, "Then neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things." His calm silence shamed their arrogance. Once again, truth stood before power, and power bowed. From this story, we learn that true greatness is not found in power, but in humility. We learn that faith must bear fruit, just as the fig tree reminds us. A life that looks good on the outside but bears no fruit is empty. And above all, Jesus teaches us to forgive, to believe, and to pray with a clean heart. As he said in Mark 11:24, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours."